Okay. I got one motion on the table. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by O'Regan. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
You in favor? No?
No.
Okay. So we have 4 ayes and 1 nay.
Yep.
And Amy's the nay. Hutchinson, I'm sorry, I should call you by your
That's
last
okay.
name. With that said, motion passed. And the other item on the agenda.
Excuse me, should we set up a hiring committee?
That's probably a good idea.
If we're gonna put it in the process in motion.
Probably good, a little good idea. Well, we'll put Lacey on there.
If there's room, just because of the election and everything, I know Pat is the liaison, you probably want, but if there's room, I would like to be on it.
Okay. Do you two want to be on it?
I can go, yeah.
Okay. So we put Pat and Steve Johnson on it, and we'll put the police chief on it. Yeah, he can be on it, right, Lacey?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's 4. Do we need more than that? Good. Bruce, you want to be on it, or?
Do we want somebody from the fire department?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say anything.
What do you guys think?
I really don't think we need anybody from the fire department. They're kind of in a transition and
Okay. All right. So we'll stay with the 4. Make a motion to make that committee.
I will make a motion.
Motion made by Carlson, looking for a second.
I would second that.
Second by Hutchinson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Fire chief. So it's come to my attention that the fire chiefs doesn't feel that they should be here at all of our meetings, especially in incidents where there's really nothing to talk about. They just have their fire report. So I'm looking what the council feels about that. I mean, they said, they go on calls and they miss family time the way it is, and it's like almost ironic that they have to come here and sit here during a meeting when there's really nothing to share with the council. And my comeback was, yeah, I agree, I don't have a problem with that, but I guess, I would want, if they have a request for something, that they be here.
Mm-hmm.
But if the report is, just a report and really nothing going on, then we could keep them, I'm okay with they didn't show up. How do you guys feel?
I guess I feel pretty strongly that they should be here. As the fire chief, that's a very key position for our city, and we've done a good job on the council building that unity, and I really think we need it with all our departments.
Okay.
And I feel that even if there's nothing for the fire department, everything Bruce does and things Lacey does, decisions we make impact the fire department. So I feel strongly that he should be here, the fire chief.
What happens if they're not here? Just, they're not here?
I mean, there's not always things we can do about it, I guess, but.
They're volunteers. Not like they're getting paid.
But they are paid volunteers, so they
Right.
are getting something. I just feel that, the chief is one step above, and I feel if they really care about our community and everything that goes on, they should be involved.
Anybody else have anything they want to add?
If they don't have any business specifically coming forward and they feel they don't need to be here, then I'm thinking that the liaison could speak for them, like the rest of the committees do.
It's true, it's
Lia-
an option.
I mean, liaison goes to the meeting every month, I believe, don't they? Isn't that correct?
Yeah, I missed the last 2, but yes.
Yeah, I mean, they have,
They don't need to, but
yeah, I mean, they have, but they,
exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's nice to be there.
Right.
I don't need to be there, but
or you can communicate with the chief and get information,
Right.
give a report, I mean.
it's a family like Lacey or Amy.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if he could be here every month, but
But do we want to make it a requirement, I guess is my question, because one of the things is that they're having a hard time finding chiefs. And at some point, you know, if that's an issue, I mean, does the city want to hold a brick to them and say you have to be here? Do we want to say, well, you know, if this is such a big deal for you guys, we're willing to not make you come on, just, if there's nothing going on, if you just have the report.
You know, things are not running 100% between the fire department and the city right now. And it's been that way quite a while.
Yeah.
I think I agree with Amy, I'm kind of on the fence, but if we made it, or tried to make it mandatory, I think it would make things even worse.
I don't know if we have ever made it mandatory that I remember. Do you guys ever remember making it mandatory? I thought we've always left it like, kind of like Amy said, we'd like to see them come
I think it
here.
was always highly
But
recommended.
we've never said they
Yeah.
have to be. So
Yeah.
I don't even know if we need to go any further than this, if you guys,
No, you can't back it up anyhow, it'll turn into a fist fight.
correct.
Yeah. And I don't want to force anybody to be here, but I want them to care enough about our city and all the departments as a whole to want to be here.
Right.
You know, even like the question I had could have easily been addressed
Correct.
if the chief would have been here.
I do too, agree, but what if it was brought up, put them right away on the agenda right away? And if they say what they want to say, if anything, and then they're free to go, make it easier, at least that option is there.
And keep it as a recommendation, though, not
Yeah,
mandatory.
Right. Because
So-
mandatory, you're not going to be able to do anything
No,
anyway.
no. So how about we just say that we love when they come here, and we will try to accommodate in our meeting if, you know, if they can't be here the whole meeting, we understand that. We'll try to accommodate that, because we can bump, even though we could bump when I asked the question about additions or deletions, we can bump them up and then move on.
Yeah.
And just leave it at that at this point, not even make it one way or the other. Because I do agree with you, and it's nice to see him here, but I don't want to chase everybody
Yeah.
away to, if it's a family issue where they don't want to come to the meetings.
Well, there's times that we all can't be here too. I just don't want them to never show up and never want to participate because, you know,
I can tell you if they do approve, if they do have a request and they're not here, I probably won't even go through it, so.
I like that.
I like that idea too, honestly.
So
Yeah.
if they want to request, they're gonna have to be here, otherwise, you know, if they choose not to come in between, that's up to them. All right, sounds good, we'll just leave it the way it is. Anything else, any other new business?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
It has been a long time, can we turn off the cameras? It's been a long time since there's been a pay raise for the mayor or the city council. I think it's at 5 or 6 years, and it has even gone backwards. I know when Conrad was here, it was like $245 for the mayor, then it has gone back. I'm proposing a $50 raise, the mayor 170 to 220, and the council 130 to 180. I think that's fair after all these years. It's not a whole lot of money, but everybody else is moving up in increments also, so
okay,
I think it's fair, and that's what I'm proposing anyhow.
What was yours for the mayor?
Mayor is
220.
170 to 220,
Okay.
and the council 130 to 180.
This is a very time-consuming thing that we all do. Most people don't understand the commitment this takes.
so, Councilmember Johnson, at the beginning here when I asked about if we had anything on there, any additions, and you didn't add them on there, but would you be opposed if we put this to the next meeting and then put it on the agenda?
Can I
Go
interject
ahead.
briefly? If you're going to consider this, it requires an ordinance amendment, which has publication requirements and stuff too. So
Right.
it's a lengthy process. And if it's not completed before the general election in November, the raises won't go into effect until the following year, or the following election cycle.
Right, that's
So-
clear.
Right. So could we get that all done and even have it on the agenda by September?
By September,
September
no.
meeting.
If we consider it right now, if you guys want me to start putting that stuff together, then I would say maybe we can have it ready by September, maybe.
So we have, in your opinion, we should approve, if we're gonna do this, approve it tonight so
I
you
would
can.
sooner rather than later, I would
Okay.
say,
All right.
for the legwork to
All
get
right.
done.
Well, typically, I don't like to add things towards the end, but you probably didn't hear me, you were writing stuff down when I asked about the addition or deletion of the agenda.
Was that today?
Yeah. So, but I'll make an exception because you did bring that fancy grease gun in.
Yeah.
All right, looking for a motion.
Yeah, first of all, I apologize for that.
That's fine.
It didn't register.
I'm looking for a motion.
I will make that motion.
Okay, motion by Carlson, looking for a second.
Can I clarify something?
Yep.
No, is this to increase it or just to discuss it at the next one?
We're actually increasing it.
Okay. Is there more steps in the middle we're missing, Lacey, or?
Well, I'm gonna have to draft the ordinance, and there's a public hearing requirement as well,
Okay.
for this type of change, I believe. But no, I think you guys, if you wanted to right now, you can say that you're looking for the $50 increase, and then I can do the work on that. If you want to discuss it more, obviously that's up to you guys before the work gets done. I can start getting some of the stuff ready regardless of the amount before then. Just throwing this out there as another option while you're mulling on it all over. If you wanted to turn next Monday's meeting into a special meeting, you'd have that option as well. If there are two council members or the mayor who want to call it as a special meeting instead of a workshop.
And that's for the budget.
Yeah, it's a budget workshop, so if you wanted to take action at that meeting.
Do you feel you need more time to think about it, Amy?
I mean, the amount is really minimal, so
Right.
yearly, I'm just thinking the budget stuff, but, I mean, this is so minimal. No, I guess I don't need time to discuss it.
Okay.
Okay, I have one motion, looking for a second.
I will second it.
Second by Johnson. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, public forum. Any members from the public wishing to be heard should have signed in, providing your name and contact information. You have 5 minutes if anybody from the council or the public wants to talk. You have anything you want to say?
Well, I'm the DFL endorsed candidate for Morrison County, and last time I checked, Monmouth was part of Morrison for the most part, and I'm just getting out to all the different city council meetings and just hearing what's going on.
Okay. Well, what's your name?
Stephen Browning,
Stephen Browning. What are you running for?
House of Representatives, so District 9B.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming.
Hey, my pleasure.
Anybody else have anything? All right, so then we are going to move on. Committees, personnel committees with Bruce Brotherton, Amy Hutchinson, Lacey Schmea, and me.
It should have said Personnel Policy Review Committee. I don't know how that happened, but just wanted to give a quick update that the attorney has had their edits back. We have a committee meeting scheduled next week, this week? Thursday. And after that, I hope to have all the edits back to the full council for review with a few weeks' time to take a look through, so we can have that finalized, hopefully sooner rather than later.
Perfect.
And
Bruce, what time was it Thursday again? Do you have it handy there? That's what I was gonna go through my email.
Is that for that meeting?
Yeah,
it's 12:30
12:30. There you go. Thank you, Lacey.
This week.
All right. Any other new business brought forward? All right, you set up a committee already for hiring? Departments, fire department, their report is 46, sure you sure can.
All right, for the month of July, we had 6 medicals, 3 good intents, 1 motor vehicle accident, 2 fires, for a total of 12 calls.
Cool. Steve, you want to talk about the hiring of new firefighters?
I don't really know what to say. Students, I know they're short, but I don't know the
Yeah.
procedure, how it goes. So
Currently, we have 14 active firefighters. We have 2 firefighters that are on leave of absence. I think we can have a total of 20, 21.
I believe so, yeah.
I think we can have a total of 21 firefighters. So yeah, we need more help.
Yeah. Kyle had asked that I put out an advertisement in the paper like we've done in the years past, and sort of go from there, and he was looking to have the fire chiefs on the hiring committee. I know last time I was also on the hiring committee, and I believe Steve, as the
Yes.
liaison, was also on the committee, so whether you want anybody from the city on that committee or not, or I shouldn't say from the city, other than the fire department.
Okay. So we have 4, 2 firefighters, 2 chiefs, you and Steve.
3 chiefs.
Oh, you have all 3 chiefs on there? Okay. Are you on it? Okay, so we really have 2 already from the council, so. All right. Okay with that, you guys are?
I am.
All right, so we'll leave that the way it was. We need a motion to approve to them to advertise for new firefighters.
I would make that motion.
Motion made by Hutchinson,
Second.
second by O'Regan. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
And then I can also, I found a grant, well, it was sort of referred to me by somebody anyway. I found a grant for $3,000 for equipment for the fire department. I worked with Kyle and Jace to get the application prepared. And we just need the council's blessing to go ahead and apply for that. They plan to use it for an infrared camera.
Yep.
And there are no matching funds required, so it's a $3,000 grant that is due on August 31st.
The current infrared camera that we have now, we've had it since I've been on the department in rechargeable lithium-ion batteries. They're not holding a charge anymore. So, and it's a handy tool to have, especially on fires.
How much are those, you know?
Mid-range, they run about $6,000.
So if you get this grant, you still gotta.
We'd still have to pay additional $3, but that's better than paying the full $6.
Okay.
They do have money in their budget.
Okay.
They're doing pretty good on their budget this year.
Perfect. So looking for a motion to approve the grant.
I would make that motion.
Second.
So motion made by Hutchinson, second by O'Regan. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Any comments, concerns for the fire department, anybody? Okay. Police department, newly hired chief Borish.
So July was another busy month for us. Jamie and I put in quite a few hours. We had a total of 193 calls for the month, which brings us up to 717 for the year as of July 31st. Our squad is getting up on miles up to 87,000, and I was called out from home one time for a call on a Sunday. I broke it down there for you guys to see who's doing what and where things are kind of falling into play. Do you have any questions?
Could keep up the good work. Tell Jamie that too.
Okay. Next thing I had was administrative citations I wanted to ask you guys about. Currently, the city does not have administrative citations set up in our system. We can write for a couple of them right now that's set up through the state, but that's about it. We can obviously do certain ordinances, but other traffic laws or equipment violations, things like that, I'm not able to give out an administrative ticket right now. So we're kind of curious as to if that's something the council would be interested in the police department proceeding with and getting set up. Currently, if we write out a state citation, typical citation costs a person about $125. It's $50 fine, and then they add on their surcharges and library fees and court costs. It brings it up to the $125. With an administrative citation, they work a little differently. I should back up. On the state citation, that initial fine amount, the city gets 1/3 of that back. The other 2/3 the state keeps. With administrative citations, we can do them for various traffic or equipment violations as set by state statute. They have it broken down. We're very restricted on what we can and can't do. But the fines are $60 fines. The city gets to keep 2/3 of those fines, and only 1/3 goes back to the state.
Is there, what are some of the things that you'd like to see the city, like offenses we could use those for?
Some of the offenses would be, right now, the only ones that we have in the state system, according to them, was for an unlicensed dog or an animal running at large. And that's what the state court administrator had told me. The other ones we could do would be other various.
Speed, 9 over, right?
Yep, so the ones that we really want to add that could help the police department would be there's speeding violations we can do. Any speeding violation that's under 10 miles an hour, we can write an administrative ticket for. If they're more than that, then we have to do a state citation. Failing to stop for a stop sign, we can do an administrative citation for. Or any of the equipment violations, and there's a whole laundry list of them. So any equipment violation on your vehicle, having a headlight burned out, a tail light, your bumper height is too high, tinted windows, the list goes on.
I just read on the list, hitching a toboggan. If there's a toboggan connected to your car, he could write an administrative citation for that.
That's
Sorry,
how I
I
come
had
to
to point that out.
So I can't do that to come to the meeting no more?
If you hitch it behind your horse, you're okay.
Well, you can as long as it's not on a street,
Oh.
apparently, so.
Go through people's yards.
Okay, well, I don't mean to sound silly, but I guess I don't understand. I mean, a ticket's a ticket, it's just the computer system won't allow you to do that, is that kind of the thing, or is it that it's not been worth it for us to
Well, no,
pursue?
it's a state thing. They're regulating it because they want to get their share of the proceeds as well from any citation. A benefit to it for us as law enforcement is there's a lot of times where we'll see a vehicle and they have tinted windows. It's not the end of the world, it's a small violation. but does it really pay for me to stop them if I'm just gonna give them a verbal warning anyway? Where with an administrative ticket, we could give them that instead of having a state citation. If we give out a state citation, it goes onto their permanent driving record. If we give an administrative ticket, it does not go on their driving record. So especially for like the speeds, their insurance company isn't gonna see it. They're not gonna get an increase on insurance. The citation amount is less, so they're not quite so upset about a speeding ticket for $60 versus $125.
Plus more of that money comes to us instead of goes to the state.
Correct. Yep. And out of the 2/3 that comes back to the city, it has to go into the general fund. And out of that, half of it has to go towards law enforcement. It can be used for new equipment for the police department or any other law enforcement use. So the city gets $20 into their general fund and the police department gets $20 towards equipment or whatever.
How costly is it gonna be for us to do this? Do we know? Is it costly or is it just work?
I think for the most part, it's just work. I'm still trying to figure out from the post board, they mentioned that we have to have ordinances that correspond with the violations. I'm a little confused on that, so I'm waiting for some clarification on that. I don't know why we'd have to have an ordinance when it's against state law already, but,
Because you're writing a city ordinance. If you're using a city ordinance administrative, then you'd have to have an ordinance to match.
right, and we do have administrative citations, so I'm looking for clarification, because they're looking for every single offense to be listed separately under the ordinances, not just
Not all together.
correct.
Yeah.
But the other things to keep in mind, if we do that, we have to, the local unit of government has to provide a neutral third party to hear and rule on any challenges to administrative citations. It's not supposed to be an employee of the city or council. It's supposed to be somebody else that doesn't have like a financial interest in the city, really.
If they choose to.
Contest it.
Contest it, yeah.
So we have to have a plan in place for that.
So, instead of talking about it all night, do you guys want, is that something you guys think that you'd like Jason to check in more, Jason and Lacey, and see if we can do this? Do you wanna do this, or are you guys thinking no?
I would like to see it.
I can see the benefits to it as well. Yeah.
For one, it's not a hefty of a fine for the person, and
And
two,
two-
we get more, the police department gets more.
Right. So I write them at work, because we do it, but it's nice for like the elderly that just need a boo. You know what I mean?
It is.
It's like, well, you get a $60 fine, but it's not gonna go on your record, and they normally like that, so I can see why they work. I mean, I understand that, but I just wanted to know how the council feels about it.
Yeah, you're getting their attention and hopefully correcting the situation without really hurting them financially.
Because you typically don't give it to an habitual speeder or somebody that already had prior records.
Yeah.
Just give it to the people that, you know. But
I'm in favor of
So you-
sticking with it myself. Sorry.
So you have that option, say you pull over somebody and it's, you know, he's got a lengthy record, you have that option to give one or the other?
Yeah, as an officer, you pretty much have a lot of discrimination on how you want to handle it.
Okay.
Whether you want to give them a citation or just a warning, or in this case, you could give them, an option would be an administrative citation. So it's up to each officer how they want to handle it. But typically, most officers, if your record's showing that you have a habit of speeding and you have 2 speeding tickets every year, you're probably going to get another state citation versus a break with the administrative one.
So yeah, in order to start doing this, other than also getting it all set up in the computer system with the state, we'll have to have a resolution that would be brought forth to another meeting, where the council would have to approve it.
Do we need a motion motion to get the process started, or?
No, they can get it started, and then she'll have the resolution at our next meeting or whatever. And then, if they're done by then, then we can move forward from there. That's basically what you're looking for, what
Yep.
our opinions were, right?
Yep.
Okay.
If it was something that the council wanted me to, Lacey and I to pursue, or if it's something that you don't wanna bother with.
Right. Sounds like we're on favor to pursue it. All right, any concerns? Oops, go ahead.
The school time, 0, is
Yep.
just no time,
No school at this time during the summer.
or?
Yes.
Oh, you got a nice red grease gun behind you.
But just for clarification, I am planning on spending lots of time in the school once it starts.
I'm confident he will have the correct amount on our schools. But that's a good one.
Thank you.
Made us all smile and laugh. All right, anything else? All right, so then we're gonna move on to Public Works. Bruce?
Okay, page 52 is my report. Do you have any questions on that? If not, last month we were, Jason and I believe Al were tasked with looking at stop signs and stuff. I gotta admit, Jason did most of the work, but we've got a couple areas that we've agreed upon. I believe that all three of us that could maybe remove a couple stop signs. One would be on Cedar and First Avenue, coming from the highway, so it'd have a straight shot down to Pine Avenue by Farber Park there. And the second area we'd look at is where we had them over here across the highway from City Hall here on Third Avenue to keep traffic flowing a little faster, or a little. maybe
Don't say faster.
But a little more
Smoother.
A little smoother.
Yeah.
Right at Birch and Third Avenue South. So that would be our recommendation for removing it right now.
So 2. How many do we have total?
Stop signs.
Do you know?
I didn't count them all.
Oh, there's a lot.
Red dots.
Yeah.
So the recommendation is moving from this one intersection over here.
Yeah, on Cedar, so you'd have straight flow all the way to Farber Park pretty much.
And one on Third Avenue or 2?
The 2 north and south, and so the Third Avenue would flow all the way from Eldridge to Molio.
But just at one intersection?
At one intersection, yeah. Right now, they're both 4-way stops. It would just open up one direction a little bit.
Okay.
So just to clarify, so you would remove it off Cedar
Yes,
or First?
off of Cedar. So it would stop from going straight up First, but